decided to put on a face mask and exercise some self-care for this entry, and now I'm gonna get comfortable and sit down and talk to you guys about this entry's topic on love and relationships. So, here's the deal about this entry. If you didn't already know this, I have never had a boyfriend. I've never been kissed. I have gone on maybe 2 dates. So, as you can tell, this topic is something that I am a little unfamiliar with, but I will say I've gotten some more, not really experience, but I've had some insights on the topic of relationships, crushes, stuff like that. So, what I can tell you is just some of the experiences I've had when it comes to boys, and just what I've learned from that this year. This whole series is pretty much just about me reflecting on this year and what I want for the next 10 years, considering it's the end of the decade. And that sounds a little cheesy, I know, but for me, I think you have to look backwards first before you can move forward. I'm going to start off by talking about why this is another lesson that I learned this year specifically, and why I wanted to bring it up at all. So, as I just told you, I never dated anyone in high school. Pretty much the world of dating and Savannah they haven't met yet, okay? Guys have talked to me before. I'm not that girl. It's not like I've never talked to them. But the reason why this year was special is because, like I said, in the last entry, last year, like the end of last school year, so the beginning of this year, I really, really liked who I was, and I was really confident. I was way more outgoing than I normally am. I am an introvert, and I think that it showed. I said that in the last entry, but I really do think that it shows when you are confident in who you are as a person. I was just more okay with being myself, and that translated into other people also being okay with me. So at the end of senior year and during the summer, I really grew into myself, is what I'll say. Pretty much like midsummer, I met this guy. So I'm not gonna name names or give details, obviously, but I met this guy and he was so sweet, and he's still a really good friend to me now. It didn't go anywhere because of college, because it was happening in the fall, but he really made an effort to try and get to know me as a person and be my friend before expecting or wanting anything else to happen beyond that. But his intentions were clear from the beginning, and I just realized that when people are interested in me, I want them to be honest about how you feel, because these experiences that I'm going to share with you, this one and the next story, I guess, they taught me that I don't have to be embarrassed by my emotions, because they're not embarrassing. If you like someone, that should be flattering to them, and if someone likes you, vice versa. Feelings aren't scary, they're not embarrassing, they should be appreciated, and there's a reason you have them. So, yeah, that experience just taught me that when you want something more from a relationship, you have to make sure that there's a solid foundation first. Like, don't go into anything wanting to be more than just friends if you're not already, if that makes sense. Later, I ended up having this weird situation with this guy that I had known for a while. I liked this guy and he liked me. It was really obvious. He made it obvious from the get-go at the end of the summer, beginning of the school year. And we were already kind of friends. We were getting closer as friends, and we just started talking. Not really, it was flirty, I'll say. And for me, from the get-go, I kind of had a feeling that it wasn't going to go anywhere. But I think I gave it so much of my, attention, because it dragged out for literal months. This situationship ended up being some weird, form of a friendship / flirtationship that lasted for 4 months. And It was by no means a relationship because I've never had a relationship, number one, but I also do know what it's supposed to be like when you're dating someone. Trust me, this was not it. It was literally just having a friend that you flirt with. I've learned that giving yourself the time to come to terms with things is not necessarily a bad thing. We texted like all the time, we talked all the time, and I needed to take a break from it. I let things simmer, and it was really clearing for me just to get space because I internalize everything so much, and it's one of my most fatal flaws. It's also a good thing in some situations, but I do internalize a lot of stuff. So I knew that I had to give myself an actual break from this, whatever this was. So after just clarifying that we were just gonna be friends, which again, I kind of knew where this was heading from the beginning, but I did it anyways. But after clarifying that with the other person, I just knew that I needed a break from talking to someone that much and giving someone that much of my emotional support and just my mental space without it being an actual relationship. I just needed a break. The things that I've learned from those two instances of my non-love life, I just learned that number one, it's okay to have feelings. It's okay not to be embarrassed of those feelings. They're not shameful. People have feelings for a reason. It's okay to share them. People should be flattered. And then I also just learned that don't give too much of yourself away. You need to just be okay with being by yourself. As annoying as it is, all of those quotes that you've read on Pinterest or all of the things you see on Instagram that tell you to love yourself and first want a relationship with yourself before wanting a relationship with a guy or someone else, they're true. As annoying as they are, they're true. As I told you guys before, I haven't really dated at all. I've never had a boyfriend. All of that typical teenage girl stuff and guy stuff, I don't think I've gotten there yet. So I've had a few years on other people in terms of getting to know myself and being okay with being just myself, just me, one person. Especially as a Black woman, as someone who has a special place in her heart for her faith. I just don't have some of the same goals as other people. And in high school, I just wasn't focused on that. My parents wouldn't let me focus on that, but I really just wasn't focused on guys and dating either. It's helped me to appreciate things about myself that maybe otherwise I couldn't have. I'm gonna talk about independence later in the series, but because of my lack thereof relationships, I've been really independent. I've never been codependent on anyone else for emotional support and stuff like that, so I do know how to take care of myself, even though it's hard sometimes. It's just you have to be okay with maybe missing out for a little bit. You can't force things in your life to happen, and that's just a lesson that I've learned. And it's okay to wait for love because ultimately, I'm assuming that you guys will agree with me when I say it's probably something worth waiting for. Don't put yourself in relationships that are going to be toxic or unhealthy for you just because you want one. Be okay with who you are first, and other things will follow. You can't expect other people to make you whole. You need to be a whole person going into a relationship. It's something that I've had to learn considering, but it is something that I think is valuable to know, even if you have dated someone already or if you're dating someone now. So long story short, before I go wash this thing off because she is really dry. Long story short, it's okay to be single, even though no one wants to be, because you see every couple on social media is relationship goals, and it's so easy to fall in that little mind trap. But you honestly will be okay if you're single. Go have fun with your friends. If you want to do the things that couples do, you can still do them even if you're not in a relationship. If you are by yourself, love yourself. Be in your own relationship with yourself, because trust me, if you're going around thinking that you're not a person without someone else, then what does that say about how you're treating yourself? I've learned to love myself over the years without being in relationships, without having someone else there to tell me all the time that I'm pretty or that they love me or that they like me, whatever the case may be. I learned to love myself on my own, and I think even if you're in a relationship now, that's still a responsibility you have to yourself. You should like yourself before liking anyone else, and I stand by that. I'm gonna go wash this off now.